Brahmanandam Paramasugadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvadidam Gaganasadarsham Tattvamasyaadilaksham Ekam Nityam Vimalam Achalam Sarvadi Sakshibhutam Bhavaditam Trigunadahitam Satgurum Tam Namaham. So this is a small satsang today. Quite nice, considering that I had to sit there and look at people sitting there. So how many of you are from the yoga, BYK yoga group here? Not many. Vivek, not too many. They are on the way? Oh. So will this voice reach there? No? Okay. Now, oh, some echo is coming. Hello? So now, this was supposed to be a small, little, intimate satsang. Even though here also they have separated me far away. But better than sitting there. तो this ये हिंदी में नहीं अंग्रेजी में होगा ना. There are many people who, some who do not know Hindi. And being a satsang and a dialogue, an intimate session, it was meant for people to ask their questions. Not about physics or geography, but about spiritual matters. Also not about love affairs. And then I'm supposed to find an answer, or we are going to have a discussion. Now, I don't know if I will be able to answer your question, because I haven't heard the question. When I hear the question, and if I do not know the answer, then I'll tell them I don't know the answer. If I know, then I'll speak. You must remember I told you the story of the Prashna Upanishad, where 3 sons of prominent rishis went to meet the great Uddalakaruni and said, please accept us as your disciples and teach us the truth. He smiled and said, live with me for 3 months. At the end of 3 months, I will teach you if I know. Now this is a very deep meaning. First, unfortunately nowadays everybody knows. There is nobody who doesn't know. And knowing begins with not knowing. If you know already, then how can you learn? You cannot learn. Everybody is quick to say, I know. The fact is, when you say you know, then you're not learning anymore. It's done, finished. The mind has locked itself. I know, I don't need anything else. So, this is one implication of what he said. Second, he wanted to watch these guys for 3 months to figure out if they're really serious about what they're asking for the truth. Because the truth, many people think they are looking for the truth, but they are actually looking for the untruth dressed in truthful robes. I'm not joking, seriously. So, that is the second implication. The third point I want to make is that I want to tell you something that happened to me so that you have an understanding of why I'm saying this. There used to be a, almost mad-looking guy almost. He talked good English and Hindi and was quite burly and carried a pankha in his hand. So people used to call him Pankha Baba. He didn't know Tamil, though he lived in Tiruvannamalai. Now I know I'm going on dangerous territory because now Tiruvannamalai is filled with all kinds of people. Watch out. Now there are saints who spit, saints who lick, saints who kick, and so on. The other day somebody said I was waiting for this particular, some Toppi Amma or somebody to spit into my mouth. I said, watch out, there may be some communicable disease. So to be spiritual is not to be idiotic. Anyway. So, so this Pankha Baba used to live for a long time. He had no place to go. Under the chariot, temple chariot. Tiruvannamalai temple had a big chariot. So then afterwards some people gathered around and made him a small place somewhere. So when I went to see him, he was in that small place. He was just sitting there. He used to wear a coat which I think had never seen the washerman for many years. And he called himself this beggar. And he loved to drink tea in a small coconut shell which he had cleaned and kept nicely. If you say, Baba, tea, he'll say, yes. This bugger likes to drink tea in this cup. So I went to see him, just like that. From Madanapalli, I had an ambassador at that time, so no driver, I drove myself, went to Tiruvannamalai, parked the car somewhere, not much rush at that time. Found him out and then went and sat there. He was sitting there, I was also sitting there. Some other one or two people were there from the ashram. And there were other people. And there was a line of people standing there to take his blessings. So there was one gentleman who I think came from a very industrial family or something, was standing in the line and he had an assistant holding an umbrella. There was no sun or anything falling, but it's a practice. Baba ignored him for quite some time. He won't even look that side, and I'm wondering why he didn't. Then finally he looked at him. So he could only talk Hindi and English. He didn't know any other local language. So he suddenly asked him, what do you want? So this guy came forward and he said, I don't want anything. Huh? Then he said, then why did you come? He said, I want peace of mind. He burst out laughing. You know, the laughter that happens, only a Paramahamsa or man in a lunatic asylum, both are very similar. They laugh like that. It comes from the tummy. Roll up. So he laughed loudly. And in the process of laughing, I was sitting on the right, so he gave me one blow on my left shoulder, yeah. One shot, it was paining for 3 days. And then he was laughing, and in the middle of the laughter, he was saying, oh, this guy wants peace of mind, but this mind has gone to pieces. So if you want peace of mind, your mind has to go to pieces. There is no way to stay with the mind intact and find peace. That is why we fail, because we are trying to find peace, but we want the mind to stay as we want it, intact. No breaking, no going away, no anywhere. which means I will do what I want, I will lead my life, but I want peace. Not possible. There is no peace available. So, I just wanted to tell you, because somebody may say, I want peace of mind. Incidentally, you're the first person to call me M. Because as soon as I entered, he shouted loudly, "Where are you from?" I said, "Madanapalli." M, he said. At that time, nobody called me M. He was playing with the words, Madanapalli M. So there we are. So we are open to a discussion. I want to say another thing. If you go to Nagpur, oh, this keeps falling like, oh, looks quite fearsome. Um, in Nagpur, there is a small, it's become big now, tomb of a saint, a dargah in Nagpur. Everybody goes there, from Sar Sangh of the RSS to even leftists who hold the red flags. Everybody goes there. Do you know the name? Huh? Yes, Tajuddin Baba's tomb. We'll go before elections. Everybody goes there to put a cloth on. Tajuddin Baba used to work in the British Indian Army as a private, sepoy. Then his commanding officer decided that he is completely nuts, so he threw him out. So, was it funny? So he threw him out. Now, they said, but he needs treatment. So in Nagpur, there was an old home for the mentally disturbed people. So from the army, they threw him in there. So he lived there. But so many people used to come every day inside the hospital to see him and take his blessing. So the head of the asylum, who himself used to go and touch his feet, said, "We can't manage this here," so they threw him out. It's a case of being thrown out. So he came and sat down under a tree there where his present dargah is, and people used to go there. And it started. So I'm just saying, luckily I have not yet been thrown out of the Satsang Foundation, but never know when this will happen. But so ask me. Don't ask me if I'm mad, okay? One question. Because I can't judge myself. Others have. Yeah.
Sir, in one of your morning quotes that we get on the email, I'm just reading the main part that I have a question of. You were telling about Mandukya Upanishad, the Uma,
The what?
and you said Uma, the Mandukya Upanishad, and you said it ends with unset, unstruck sound is Turiya, which is also like the Om sound. And then you said when you have discovered that, you have discovered the truth.
Yes.
So does that mean like if we can hear the sound, we have discovered the truth, but the mind is still agitated? Or how does it lead to the truth? Or like if you can explain this? Or what is the next process after?
What I said was that in the Mandukya Upanishad, the last part of Om, especially the vibrating part, when you've finished the sound, but it's going on, Anhat. Now that sound is said to be Turiya, symbolizing Turiya. And Turiya is the original state of one's being. That's what I was trying to say. If you know that original state, then you have nothing else to do. That's what I said. Not that if you only hear that end of Om, then you have nothing else to do. That's not what I meant. When you have understood this, then you have nothing else to do. That's what I meant. Because we don't like to say it, but we actually live in a beautiful dream. Oh, sometimes it's beautiful, sometimes it's ugly. And if it is ugly, then we live on still there in the dream, hoping that it will become beautiful. Which is not bad, of course. Well, it may be sometimes beautiful. But again, it has a tendency to go back to the ugliness. This is a constant process that goes on. When you understand it for what it actually is, that it's an entire illusion built up from the beginning of creation, and the origin is you, not what has originated. And then you recede from all these illusions and go into reality. Do you know that today, not today, from ancient times, well, it was kept under wraps. Great physicists like Schrödinger, Max Planck, they all believed that consciousness came first and then the material world. But the normal so-called Newtonian physicist does not like to hear this, because we live in a Newtonian physics world where we see action as a reaction and so on and so forth, measure everything. But the ultimate cannot be measured. This is the problem. And from my understanding, consciousness is the original feature of this entire net web that has been built around. Pure consciousness, for its own reason, we do not know why, bubbles out into this illusion and then goes back again into pure consciousness. The good news is that in true essence you are that consciousness, not any of the other things you associate with. Now this is what we are going to study in the last 10 days of this Kumbh Mela when we do the Yoga Vasishtha. There are beautiful stories which illustrate this fact. So it's not a depressing thing, it's a wonderful good news that you are the free consciousness. And that the consciousness is not concocted by the brain, but the brain works because of consciousness. We like to think that we are conscious because we have a brain, right? We say, oh, our consciousness is our brain, in our brain, or whatever. Think of consciousness as a completely different entity from your brain or anything else. It probably uses the brain for functioning, but it's outside the scope of the brain. Does a tree have a brain? No. You cannot locate a brain in the tree. Yeah, each of the little cells are brains in themselves, but apart from that, there is no structure called the brain like we have, evolved structure, neurons and things like that. And yet, this tree, if there is no sunlight available for its leaves, it goes towards the sunlight. The branches. You've seen, you might have planted a tree long ago before you built the house. Now the house is built, there is no sunlight, so it moves. Right? Where is the brain? What is moving it? There is an inbuilt intelligence. This is consciousness. Then, You plant it, there is no water close by. Now does it do? The roots stretch towards wherever there is water. There is no brain for the tree. Which means there is a built-in intelligence. Now that intelligence is part of the universal consciousness. It expands and it contracts, and we say creation and then God. In our daily life, this happens every day, but we fail to recognize it. How? This whole world is there, we are doing all the circus required or not required, and then we go to sleep. Now, when we are sleeping, in the dream state, different worlds come into our brain. Right? We see things which we don't see sometimes in waking state. Even many things may be based on the waking state because we spend more time with the waking state, and then it concocts a dream world of its own. And then at the end, then you go to sleep, totally dreamless. It's ended. But the consciousness is not gone because you wake up again and it manifests itself. That is your true identity, this consciousness. So, while you are in this world and you are doing whatever you are doing, which you have to do probably, you should keep this in mind that the inner consciousness, with the essence of my being, is doing nothing, is enjoying everything. I think I am enjoying, it's enjoying everything. And it is not male or female. Although Sankhya calls it Purusha, which doesn't mean that it's male. Purusha means pure consciousness. Oh, sorry. This is like the Bhagavad Gita, where iti Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Upanishatsu, and so on. Sri Krishna Arjuna Samvaade, but Arjuna is hardly saying anything. Krishna is only laughing away, like, I'm sorry I took over. Yes. I want to hear you properly. First, I want to hear.
Guruji, hi, Sindhu. Anyway, further to what you...
Slowly.
Okay, I got excited, sorry.
Don't get excited.
Further to what you're saying, like that tree that grows to look for the sunlight if it's blocked, it doesn't have a brain, right? But Parabrahman, I mean that consciousness that is Parabrahman, right? They say
Which is Parabrahma?
the consciousness that controls the tree, us, everything, all this essence is Parabrahman, right?
Why do you want to name it?
Okay, whatever it is.
Oh, okay.
Okay. It is not just some silent thing, right?
Huh?
It is not a silent thing.
It's not?
Silent thing. Like, it's
Silent.
not just, It is not just, okay, I will tell you what happened and then maybe you can explain because I don't understand it. Okay. There was one morning.
One boy.
One morning.
One morning.
Morning, yes.
Sorry.
There was one morning, before I knew you. Before I met you, yes.
Thank God. Lucky. Tell me.
There was one morning, I was praying before my meditation. And I didn't have a guru yet, so I didn't know what I was doing. And then a friend, an acquaintance, he called me out of the blue at 6 a.m, that very day. And I picked up and he said, they told me to tell you that you are on the right path, so why do you keep asking?
What is that?
This guy that called me,
Can you take out that microphone and come here and talk to me? I can't hear you. Yes.
Sorry. Okay, so there's one morning.
Yes, now I can.
Okay, I was trying to meditate, so-called.
Yes.
Then I was asking just out loud, I don't know what I'm doing. And then like 10 minutes after that, an acquaintance of mine who I don't really talk to, he called me and he said, I was told to tell you that you are on the right path, so stop asking. Now, there's no way he knows that I have been asking. So I'm guessing that that consciousness or whatever it is what is telling him. But then I asked him, do you know why you are telling me this message? And he said he doesn't know. So if he can somehow know the consciousness or whatever, why doesn't he understand what he's doing to me? I mean, he's delivering. Well, I mean, he's delivering the message, no, but he doesn't understand why he's delivering the message. So that consciousness is not just a silent thing. No, I just don't understand this whole thing.
Okay. Let me put it this way. That you imagine that there is ever expanding consciousness called, okay, let it be.
Oh.
I think if one works, the other doesn't. So, you... No, sit here. Because if you go back and you say something, I can't hear it. So, you say that you were meditating one day in the morning and you were not seeking a guru or anything. You didn't have a teacher, nothing. You just thought, I will meditate. And then a friend or somebody calls you and says, you are on the right path. You are meditating. Right? Well, he doesn't know that. He says you are on the right path. You are saying now, is that a link? That this all-pervading consciousness is linked to him and to you? But then, what did you say? Yeah, but he may not know it. Because he hasn't touched it yet. Only that much reached him. That all-pervading consciousness has its own decisions. It makes its own decisions. You cannot decide on it. And sometimes it conveys messages. Sometimes it does not convey messages. The message was supposed to come to you. It came through him. That's all. That means that you and he are all linked together. You and me are also linked together, even if you don't sit here. I know. Then everybody agrees for the next question? Yeah, because they shouldn't say that I have a, you don't have to, I just, out of respect, I ask.
Why doesn't the answer come directly to me? Why does it have to have a middle person?
It has its own reasons which we do not. Our puny little brain cannot understand why.
Namaste, Guruji. I actually wanted to ask one question, but then because she talked about an incident which happened many years before in her life, now I'm tempted to ask you about that. No, I'm not blaming you. Thanks for reminding me, actually. So this was again many years before I met you, and I used to do just normal so-called meditation with my very limited
Why is
knowledge.
everybody saying so-called meditation?
Yeah, because I did not know whether it's meditating or not.
Okay.
So I used to light the lamps, go to sleep. Light the lamp, meditate,
And
go to sleep.
Yes. Meditating. I used to light a lamp and go to sleep.
That happened too. So one night while I was meditating, I did not have a guru, but I used to listen.
Thank God.
And for a very brief moment, while I was at a very peaceful state of mind, I felt a sense of oneness with everything around me. Like I felt that the air that I'm breathing is connected to the people next to me, connected to the things, the non-living things, everything. So, and for a very brief moment, I felt a lot of peace, and I felt that everything is just one. And that feeling just lingered for some time, and maybe for a few days. And then I think my ego just caught up, and everything went back. So, and I just wanted to know, like, Is there any way that I can feel that again? Because
You see, the problem is this. You had that, I don't want to call it experience. It happened to you before you met me,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So because it happened to you, you met me.
Oh,
Okay?
okay.
Now, what I have to tell you about this thing is by wanting the same thing to happen again to you, you are very successfully closing the door for anything new to happen to you. You
Yeah,
see this?
yeah,
I don't know, many people don't see this. Then something happens which is very nice, enjoyable, uh, expansive, and so on. But it happened and it's over, right?
yeah.
It is not concocted by the brain, it's expressed through the brain. It's not concocted by the brain. And then, because it is enjoyable, next time when I sit down to meditate, I want the same thing to repeat itself. Therefore, I am successfully shutting the door to the new, because that consciousness, all pervading, is ever new. It's not a memory that should be recollected. You get what I'm trying to say?
Right.
I know it's a little hard to. It's not a memory of the meditation that you're trying to recollect. It's new. It can happen at any time. So all that we do is to prepare the mind to be silent and not try to grab or bring back that same experience. Just be.
Yeah.
Surrender your mind to the saying that what happens today, not what happened before. And then you'll see every day is a new thing.
Thank you.
Yeah,
So
seriously. And did I say Anne? Did I say Anne? And I forgot that Anne. Like this. One uh, one evening or one evening, you go up to your terrace, okay, not knowing what is going to happen. Go up. You say, okay, let me sit on my terrace and meditate, and you're going up. Suddenly you look up. There's a beautiful full moon out there. For a second, you and the moon are the only thing there. In fact, you're so absorbed in the moon, you're also not there. It's just a moon, beautiful moon. That is also the experience of the Supreme Brahman. But the next minute, I say that in 2008, I saw a moon near the sea, which was like this. Then the mind has lost this moon. It is comparing, it's trying to bring ideas into the mind. That expansive mind that saw the moon is gone because the other side is working now. Your left brain has started calculating, comparing. What your right brain saw was intuitive, really. So we should remember this, that when it happens, it happens. Then don't try to recover that. Let your mind settle down and see what happens next. You get what I'm trying? In fact, it is a good time, it is not, sometimes better it is not repeated again. Because it's not something that can be memorized, and then anything that is memorized and looked into is artificial. Without memory, what remains is the reality.
Pranam, sir. So sometimes, increasingly so, actually, one feels as if, there is no mind, and it's like a void into which one is getting pulled more and more and more. Sometimes there is nothing, it's just this void. But sometimes it feels like deep depression, sorrow, anxiety, as if you're getting sucked into a vacuum, and you feel at that point, you don't know what even survival means. I pray to you at that point, but
Don't pray.
no, what else does one do? So,
Look,
what is that?
look, it's like this. That when you feel that you're descending into an endless pit, do not take support of any clutch, including me. Allow it to sink. You'll soon realize that where you're sinking is the reality. We're afraid. What will happen? Nothing will happen. Chant the Guru Mantra for a few times and say, look, I'm not holding on to anything, including M. I'm going down. Let me go down. You go down, allow you. You'll find that you are not going down, but going up. This is the fear that makes us afraid, because the mind does not like to be annihilated. It has its own vested interest. It doesn't want to be annihilated. Hold on. That's why some great saints who are not into the jnana marga or intellect, mind, this, that, consciousness, who are totally devotional, lost everything because they just wanted to be in the feeling of communion with the Supreme. They were not afraid what will happen, where will we sink, where will nothing. It's the other side, I'm saying. And in the Upanishad and the Jnana Marga, they have figured out how to intellectualize it and understand what this process is. You cannot replicate the process. You cannot duplicate it. When it happens, at least you have a logical understanding, roughly, of what's happening. Because human beings love logic. Since we are on the subject of logic, the last few days we are going to do the Yoga Vasishta. In the Yoga Vasishta is an interesting text. It is the teaching of Vasishta, the great Rishi, who was a guru of Sri Rama. When Sri Rama is depressed and says, what is the meaning of all this world? Why am I doing where? So Vasishta talks to him. Now, in the introduction to the Yoga Vasishta, there is an interesting thing, which is Vasishta talks about human intelligence, and how we always want to have a reason for something. If you don't find a reason, we concoct a reason. In fact, this entire universe has no reason whatsoever. But we want a reason. For everything there should be a 1 plus 1, 2. We are in the world where 2 plus 2 is 10 here. So they ask such questions. I'm intelligent, so I'm asking you an intelligent question. But this intelligence is limited to the limited brain. It cannot answer universal questions. So, Vasishta gives a beautiful story to illustrate how human beings try to concoct intellectual solutions to everything when there is no such thing really. The example given is called the logic of the crow. It's called Kaka Nyaya. A crow flies and goes and sits on a coconut tree. Coconut falls. Now the human being's mind is such that it needs a reason for everything. So it says the crow sat and therefore the coconut fell. The coconut falling and the crow sitting there are not connected in any way whatsoever. But we like to have a reason. So we concoct a theory. The crow sat, therefore the coconut fell. The coconut fell. It would have fallen even if the crow didn't sit there. But we like to say that, oh, we are intelligent people, we need a solution. Yes, next.
Thank you, sir. Actually,
Oh, okay. That's all right.
yes, the question I was thinking, you actually addressed it while talking about logic. My question is, it's a follow through to that. What kind of things made Babaji laugh? And do you think humor and enlightenment are connected? Yes, that's the question.
Can you come here? Sorry, come here. Now talk into this.
Yes, as I was preparing my question, you started to talk about logic. So it told me that he already knows. So this is a follow-up question to that. What kind of things made your guru Babaji laugh? Have you seen him laugh?
Laugh.
Laugh like ha 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 ha. And what kind of jokes?
It was not that Babaji.
Okay.
This was somebody else. Anyway.
Okay. Yes. What? And is there a connection between enlightenment and having a sense of humor? So yes, what made him laugh too? So we can know a bit his what makes him.
Okay.
Thank you.
So you know why I keep laughing? Because when you see it from the viewpoint that this whole thing is a beautiful circus, big circus going on, then there's a natural sense of humor coming into the heart. You want to laugh, but you don't laugh because people are suffering. Not knowing this, they are suffering. So you prevent yourself from laughing. Now I'm sitting with good people, intimate people, so I'm laughing. Sometimes I'm talking about that. But normally, you know what, I go back to my room and then I laugh. I'm not joking. I'm not joking. If you want, you can ask Mr. Naresh, who looks after me in Graham. If he hears me laughing inside the room, in the beginning he used to wonder, now he has accepted it. Because it's actually truly funny, but it's sad and cruel to laugh because people are suffering and so on, but ultimately it is so, it's funny. Anyway, sorry.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
You can come here if you like.
I'd love to come there.
You can bring that also. Huh. Because I don't have to turn this up and down. They will have a difficulty, the sound system people.
So my question is,
Yes, clear, yes.
you always say you're a spark of the divine.
Yes,
And we hear it and we hear it, and then one day we believe you.
you do?
Yeah.
Good.
It's here, it's now, it's not tomorrow, I'm a spark.
Yes.
As a householder, how do I sanctify this?
I'm also a householder.
You had my Shana. You live with him for 3 years. I live with 2 kids and a husband. I live with 2 kids and a husband.
I live with 2 kids and a wife. So don't worry about it.
I'm T. I'm T. You're M.
Yeah. So it's not that. It's like your first question was interesting. You say you're a spark of the divine. Actually, I say we are all sparks of the divine, and me spark of the divine, out of humility, because I don't want to say we are the divine. I don't want to say it, articulate this, because out of humility, I don't want to say that I am. So I say spark of the divine. It's like somebody didn't want to say that he is the father, he said, I am the son. You see what I'm trying to say? So therefore, out of humility I say that. And by, as you begin to understand this, that you are divinity itself in some manifested form, then that divinity will give you ways and means how to handle situations in life.
But how do I not forget? How do I not let everything cloud? How do I not forget? How do I not let the world cloud it over?
One day you will realize it as you're sitting or standing or walking or lying down somewhere. In a flash, everything is over. But then you can still be in this earth, but you will not be loaded, burdened by it. The problem is not living in this earth, it is being burdened by all that is happening. So we are hoping that it will happen at some point. I said it could happen now, it could happen the next minute. No one can put a time to this. Say it will happen tomorrow. Or in the lifetime. But keep at it always. Keep this in mind. That I am not this thing that I and others think I am, but I am something more than that. Keep that in mind. Always, constantly as you go about.
Thank you.
Now I know why people want to ask questions, because they want to come and sit here. Come. Come, come. Yeah, because I cannot hear you. That's why. They talk in the mic, then they talk like something else.
So follow up to that, what is the highest or noblest thought
Thought.
and karma or attitude behind doing karma, like our everyday things?
The highest karma is to not do any karma whatsoever. But human beings cannot believe this or agree with this, so they keep doing karma and try to find out what is the best karma to do. Right? So that's why people take sannyas. They don't want to do anything.
We can't do that. No?
You cannot do that. Therefore, the question is related to us, to people who want to do karma, who are afraid of giving up any karma. Therefore, the best thing you can do, first you need to find some way to live. You have to exist. You need food, you need shelter. That you have to do. But while doing it, make sure that you are not doing anything that is bad for other people as much as possible. And the best karma is doing good to somebody. So put that also into your doing, karma. While you do everything else, keep one part for looking after other people. What happens if you do such work? Your mind also gets purified. Apart from the other person having some satisfaction, your mind gets purified until you come to the state where you know whether you do karma or you don't do karma, you're fine. Till then we have to continue to do some karma or the other, but there should certainly be an element of doing good, even if it is a little bit to some. That is the best karma.
And thought, highest thought or noblest thought, because we have so many thoughts.
Yes.
We need to watch
Yes.
and then reprogram our thinking to higher, like good thoughts, right?
Yes.
So what is the noblest thought we can
The
have?
noblest thought is to figure out what is my true identity. Who am I really? Am I this concocted being who I think I am? Or am I something else? This is the noblest thought.
Naam Japa will help in this.
Nam Japa will help to stabilize your mind, to make it quiet, to make you one with the deity whose name you are chanting. Gradually, when the mind becomes completely quiet, there is no need of Nama Japa. Nama Japa is an instrument to bring this about.
So if we live like this, we'll attain to the divine.
Yes, if that is your ultimate intention.
Thank you.
So, sir, am I audible?
Let people walk. Walk is good for you. Okay. Sorry. Can I hear you? Others also can hear.
Am I audible? Yeah. So, ever since I have started practicing my Kriya, I have heard many people saying, I have talked to many people, they say they have experienced a lot of things.
Don't talk to anybody.
So, sir, my question was, is experience a necessary criteria to progress forward? So, what are the
The
parameters?
only thing required is to watch if the mind is calming down,
Okay.
quietening down.
Okay.
Is there peace when you meditate? Is your mind settling down?
Yes.
And if your mind is not upset with others, these are the things to watch. And when you sit down, are you able to go into that quiet tranquility of mind fast instead of taking a long time? And are you enjoying that quietness? If these things are there, don't worry about other people's experiences. Don't talk to them anything.
So, like in my case, I can tell calmness is increasing in me.
Very good.
So much so that my mom thinks that I'll leave away her and go to the mountain someday. So, so some people think I have started becoming insensitive because of
No,
this.
that's normal.
That's not.
People will say such things. Don't worry about it. Huh?
Okay, sir, that's it.
And what if you really go up to the Himalayas? It's a good thing.
That there's a perception that if people run away to the Himalayas, they leave everything, and my mom thinks I'll.
Look, you leave everything, but once you have touched that, what is due to you will come to you anyway. I also ran away from everything, and I came back, and there are many things to manage now. But since I have touched that, I know how to do it. You learn the technique. Not through training, but it comes. I know one family, real family, there is a real story. A family in Chennai who were very close to Swami Chinmayananda. Have you heard of Swami Chinmayananda? Yes. Swami Chinmayananda used to live in their house and go for talks, and they were very close to each other. Till one day, their only son decided to become a sannyasi. From that day, they hated Chinmayananda. This is natural. Human beings, they don't want to leave what is they consider dear and near to them. It's normal. But the dearest and the nearest thing is yourself, your soul, which is divine. That is the nearest and the dearest. Since people don't understand, they get worried when somebody is like that. But don't worry.
Thank you, sir.
But please, if you're going to the Himalayas, tell me before you go.
Sure.
I don't know, it's all left to him. Who he gives the microphone, come here. This is like a fashion show, everybody comes.
Sir, you were talking about free will the other day. You answered a question on free will, sir.
Free will.
So, who is the chooser, sir?
You. Did you choose
But-
to come here?
So,
Don't tell me, no, it all was decided. But you really chose to come, no? You could have said, no, I'm not going this time. I want to go. I will meet him anyway in Grams. I don't want to go. But you chose to come. Now don't tell me that is not your choice. It is your choice.
but it's also a thought, right, sir? That the ego that propelled me to
Yes.
choose this,
Yeah,
that itself is a thought, sir. So, how can a thought choose a thought?
No, because you know me. This is very simple. You know me, you enjoy the satsang, therefore you chose to come. There is no mystery in that. What is the mystery? Unless you want to concoct the theory that it is all destined, so I have to come. No, you chose, so you came. Otherwise, all sadhana becomes useless. Why would we do sadhana? We will do sadhana only if we are chosen to do sadhana. Is that right? So, when we cannot answer, when we don't find answers to questions, which is normal because our brain is quite puny, we like to say it's all destined. I have no choice in the matter. But actually, we have a lot of choice. Otherwise, why is this organism given a brain which can think and choose? This much we can say, that we don't know why it has happened and how it has happened, but we do have a brain which chooses. Yes or no? Yeah. And that which is beyond our control is something we cannot do. Don't say everything is out of my control. That's a terrible way of living.
Thank you, sir.
So please choose to come when you want. I'm happy that you came. That's a different story. You can think this way, that God has made me choose to come. Good. That satisfies the mind. The crow sat on the tree and the coconut fell. Right. Oh. better. अच्छा बैठने से उठ नहीं सकते. हाँ चल ऐसा रखो ना.
Pranam Baba, I don't know how to ask, but I feel I've become two personalities. Two personalities. Matlab, like sometimes I see all, I feel where I am sitting, I don't know anyone.
Very
Like
good.
as if
I am so glad. That's
but
how
I know you. I mean, and even with you, I feel so bad. I get so much beautiful moments with you, but
do
I can't.
Do you?
Yes, but I'm never satisfied that story. But I can't remember you. Matlab, like I can't see physically. I know you are there with me. What is
देखिए,
wrong?
you are in an ideal state. Don't try to change it.
Matlab, when I see you, I just forget everything and I run after you. But otherwise, when I try to see in my mind,
Don't
like,
try to see.
I only feel, but I can't see.
Enough. You are in a wonderful state. You don't change it, please.
So,
So?
so what is it? Something wrong physically?
Nothing is wrong. You're okay. That's ideal.
Okay.
But do something about your weight. That is not ideal.
I did ask him. He said, कुछ भी आपको कंधे पे ले जाना
चलो,
पड़ेगा.
चलो.
You will only have to take it on your little shoulder.
Where? Take you where?
To Baba.
अच्छा बाबा जी. I got worried. हाँ, ठीक. चल.
Thank you.
This is the simplest question answer session I ever had in my life. Actually, she's quite lucky.
Sir,
She's quite lucky. She cannot imagine me when I'm not there. But when she sees me, she's always, then she'll get angry with me after that. So, this is great. हो गया छोड़ दीजिए. हाँ
sir,
चल. वो भी सुनी नहीं. चलो.
Sir, can you hear me?
Come here.
This side. Sir,
I can hear you. The problem is when you talk from there on the microphone, sometimes not clear. And then when you sit here, I can hear you without the microphone. But I want people, others to hear what you're asking.
so I've been thinking a lot about helping.
Helping.
Yeah. So, is it truly possible to help any being without being liberated or enlightened? Is
Without
it
being?
liberated or enlightened? Is it possible to know the right way to help?
Look, if you're enlightened, then you wouldn't be asking me this question, right? No. So leave that aside. How an enlightened person thinks or how he acts, let's not get into this. Now, since you think you're not, maybe you are, I don't know, since you think you're not enlightened, you say, now how do I work? Because I don't know what is good for anybody. Right. So, the best thing would be to do some work that supports people who together are trying to move along the spiritual path. That kind of work will help you, it will help the others also. And when you do any work which is to help move forward people who are moving towards the truth in some way, try to forget the ego inside. Say that the work is being done, but I am not responsible.
So, you mentioned that in the mind, the spontaneous awareness of everything that there is, the oneness and everything. So, I wanted to ask, is it possible to cultivate that compassion?
You cannot cultivate compassion. Anything that is cultivated is artificial. Compassion is something that wells up in the heart. When you see somebody suffering, you don't calculate then. There's no calculation. There, you see a little child lost on the road. Our parents have gone, we don't know where they've gone. It's crying. It's standing there. It has no food. There is something happening to you when you see that, right? There's some compassion. Well, that is compassion. You cannot cultivate it. You can keep your mind sensitive through meditation, through spiritual practice, so that compassion, when it comes, overwhelms you totally. And then what action comes out of that compassion is the best thing that can. I know a man, you would normally think, well, politicians are, they don't have a heart. It's not true. They're in some profession, that's okay. I know somebody who, in Uttarakhand, a very influential politician. So when the Kedarnath floods happened, he had gone there to see how to help. He's from Uttarakhand, so he went. They went in a helicopter, then they had to, there was floods, so they had to go in boats and so on. And when they came on, they saw a small child, girl child, very small, sitting on a rock and crying. You think that, oh, he wouldn't care, he'll say, hey, isko kuch karo. Something happened to him. He didn't know what. He took the child with him and he got into the helicopter and said, chalo. That girl is now grown up. He's like his daughter. Because he found her near the Ganga, he named her Ganga. Now that is not a cultivated act. Normally, according to his political things, he may not have done it. It touched his heart, right? So, compassion has no logic. If you think there is a logic, there is no logic. It's something that happens. That is not your mind, that is beyond. Such acts that come out of the feeling, these are divine acts. So keep your mind open. Now you shouldn't say, oh, here is a child sitting there and crying. Should I find out what caste the child is? What religion the child belongs to? Who is the father? We don't know. The child is there and you want to do you take the child and you look after it. There is no questions asked. That is compassion. Should be compassionate to me also.
Last question.
Last question, yes. I got somebody who controls things. Aa jao. Come. What's your name?
Sagar Rathod.
Sagar
Rathod.
Rathod, बोलिए.
Sir, thank you for giving
हिंदी
us.
में बोले, अंग्रेजी में?
हाँ, कोई भी चलेगा.
अच्छा, इंग्लिश.
नहीं, दोनों में मिक्स.
हाँ, मिक्स.
अच्छा, so thank you for giving us क्रिया. एक इच्छा है कि लाइक हम जब क्रिया करते हैं तो धीरे धीरे आगे बढ़ेंगे. बट लाइक
आपको जल्दी है.
no, the goal is to get enlightened, right?
Absolutely.
But I want to don't get enlightened within like doing kriya and within walls. I wanted to live life like you. So going into Himalayas, find a guru. Please.
You found one here in Allahabad. Why are you going to the Himalayas?
Sir, but you won't come with me. I want to have experience like you, how you had.
होगा नहीं भाई. अभी होगा नहीं. समझ लीजिए कि अलग अलग लोगों को अलग अलग तरीके से ये होता है. मुझे जो हुआ आपको ऐसा ही डुप्लीकेट, ऐसा कोई ये नहीं है. बट सर्टनली गो एंड लुक फॉर समवन इफ यू लाइक, बट यू विल कम बैक हियर. सो इसलिए बाबा जी ने हमारे जैसे लोगों को भेजा है, क्योंकि सब लोग वहाँ जाके घूम के कहाँ पकड़ेंगे किसी को. तो he said, okay, you go and do something.
Maybe,
I'm not saying don't go to the Himalayas. Beautiful.
Maybe with the guidance of you, we can find someone. I can. Actually, I've planned like something that I'll do something so that without working, some money will come to my family will get settled, and then I can leave for
Yes,
Himalaya
yes.
to
So
find.
don't be in a hurry. Settle the family.
Yes. So I'm going to look everything for the family, and then I was going to find.
You have kids?
No, it's going to be it. My wife is pregnant. It's
Now you're thinking of going to the Himalayas.
no, not now. I'm not going like right now. I know it's a long path.
Okay,
It will take some time.
Born voyage. So, good. So, प्लीज अभी वहाँ बैठिए, मैं इसके बारे में एक स्टोरी सुनाऊंगा. स्टोरी नहीं है, एक्चुअल.
Okay.
Do you know that there was a great yogi who went from Calcutta and settled down in Banaras? He is from our Kriya Yoga Parampara. He Shama Charan Lahiri Mahashaya. So, he actually used to write his name as Shama Charan Sharman. That's how he signed. But the family is a Lahiri family. So, many people are under the impression that Lahiri Mahashaya's main disciple was Sri Yukteswar Giri. Wrong. That's what you will get if you read the autobiography. It looks like that. But it's not true. Lahiri Mahashaya had a number of disciples, of whom his chief disciple was Panchanan Bhattacharya. Panchanan Bhattacharya was from, today it's Jharkhand, those days it was Bihar, Devghar, from Devghar. He was a very well-off farmer, agriculturist from Jharkhand, but very spiritual minded. In fact, there are many disciples and so on of Panchanan Bhattacharya lineage who live in Banaras around the Bengali Tola section. That's where Lahiri Mahashaya lived. Most of his life, Samadhi is also there. Now, Panchanan Bhattacharya was a family man, but he was very, very spiritual. So, in the desire to reach perfection quickly, he went to an akhada in Bengal and took sannyas. And after taking sannyas, he heard that for sadhana to reach the divine, Kriya Yoga is a very good upadhi. There may be others, but he heard that many people told him, if you pick up Kriya Yoga sadhana, you might be able to speed up the process. So now he had already taken sannyas, right? So he asked that, who can give me Kriya Yoga? And he was also a scholar, he had studied the Gita and everything. So they said, there is one Shamacharan Lahiri who now lives in Banaras. You will find him in his parlor, in his drawing room all the time, sitting cross-legged. Sometimes he would be absorbed in samadhi, sometimes he would speak, so you go there. So he went. Luckily, nobody was there when he went. Lahiri Mahasaya was a very intelligent man. He did not allow people like this to come. Very intelligent. He used to sit quietly in the palace. Sometimes people came. At midnight, great tapasvis like other sannyasins, Trailanga Swami, they all used to come and sit with him in the night so that nobody will see during the day. Generally, he kept himself out of circulation. So, they said you should find him. So he went to Banaras, wearing the ochre robe, shaven head. He went to Banaras and he found Lahiri Mahasaya sitting. So Mahasaya said, so what is it? He said, I want to take Kriya Yoga. Please initiate me into Kriya Yoga. He said, yeah. So who gave you sannyas? He said, some mutt. Okay. So you have taken sannyas and you will practice Kriya Yoga. Now, he hadn't told him that he had 6 daughters and 2 sons who were still. So the first question. So the 2 sons and 6 daughters, you think I will take care of them? You have taken sannyas, you have become a monk, who will look after them? You think I will look after your kids? So he was a little bit stunned. He said, but Maharaj, he said, look, listen, I will give you Kriya. Are you ready to do any sacrifice for Kriya? He said, yes. Go back, take out your ochre robes, throw them in the Ganga, wear white clothes and come back. I will give you Kriya. Now this is revolutionary, especially in those days. If you take sannyas, you cannot come out of it. That's the end. Even Jnaneshwar's parents were excommunicated. He was also excommunicated because this happened. He agreed. So he went somewhere, took off the robes, wore white. Then he went to him. He said, now, go back to Jharkhand, to Devgar. Tell your family that I am here. I am okay. I will look after you and come back. I will give you Kriya. So he did that and went back. Then he gave him Kriya. And later on, he is on record saying that among my disciples, the best Kriyavan is Panchanan Bhattacharya. So, think about the story before you. Anyway, you have learnt Kriya, so that part you needn't worry. I can't tell you don't do all this, I won't give you Kriya. वो तो हो गया. अब आगे थोड़ा सोच के. Okay. Now what is the program? Pranam. Who are the new people?
So only the people who have come today, not the people who offered pranams earlier.
Oh, okay. So बच गए. चल.
Huh? Yeah, the prasadas come.
I'll sit here only.
Table. So we request people who have already offered the pranams in the last session, please do not come. Only the people who have arrived today, they can offer the pranams. Thank you. वो लेके आ रहा है. She's got a racket. And the basket.